Squid Game Season 2 is full of twists and turns, but one of those twists was actually given away several episodes before the end. Did you catch it? Major spoilers ahead for Squid Game Season 2. In the first season, Junho was shot by the frontman after learning that the frontman was, in fact, his brother, Inho. In the second season, we learn that Junho survived his brother's assault because a boat driven by a fisherman named Captain Park pulls him out of the water. After that, Captain Park takes Junho and his team, assembled by Ji-hun, on excursions to every island he can think of that might contain the games, with no success. But in the final episode of Season 2, it turns out that the unassuming Captain Park is actually a stone-cold killer. He reveals his true colors when he murders one of Ji-hun's henchmen, who catches Park in the act of sabotaging their search drones. Yes, Captain Park works for the games, and you can bet he won't let Junho and Ji-hun's men find them. But there was a huge clue about Park's true nature before this, even if both the characters and viewers failed to see it. Captain Park never reveals his true agenda to Junho, but he makes a mistake while waiting to take off in his boat with Choi Woo-sok, the leader of Ji-hun's mercenaries. When Park asks Woo-sok why they're looking for the island with renewed intensity, Woo-sok tells him he can't reveal exactly what they're doing, but lets slip that they have an insider on the island.
The man who was in the games?
Huh? Who?
Yep, he's talking about Ji-hun. But instead of being suspicious of how Captain Park knows that, Woo-sok is quickly placated by Park's explanation that Junho has filled him in on everything. Woo-sok is soon singing like a bird about what they're doing and why, none the wiser that he should be suspicious of Captain Park. In fact, this clue is so subtle that you might have fallen for Park's even-handed explanation as well.
I thought all that crap was in his head, with the games and the 45.6 billion won.
He gives a smooth performance, but the bigger question is what Park's role is in the larger picture. The most likely explanation for his presence at this stage of the story is that the frontman had him save Junho because he didn't want his brother to die. Granted, Junho ended up in a coma for a year, but if it had been anyone else, you can bet the frontman would have been perfectly happy to let them drown. Still, the frontman would want Junho watched because Junho had already infiltrated the games once. Captain Park had the perfect excuse to look in on Junho because Junho commissioned him to look for the island. And Captain Park may not be alone. The frontman may also be responsible for the other captain that takes half of Ji-hun's men to another section of the islands. Between the two of them and the many soldiers that help run the games, Junho and his colleagues could be up against more than they realize. And to be honest, Junho's storyline throughout Season 2 wasn't the most exciting thing going on. He just goes from island to island searching for the games, doesn't have to face any real antagonist to speak of, and hardly makes any progress in his search. In fact, he's even further away from finding the truth than he was in the first season. But with the revelation that Park is indeed an opponent to him and Ji-hun's hired hands, Season 3 may be more interesting for Junho. When he does find out, there could be a major showdown between them. Of course, Junho's main goal is to find the frontman and put a stop to what he's doing, but in the meantime, Captain Park will be a dangerous nemesis for Junho and a good substitute for the frontman, at least until Junho manages to have his moment of truth with his brother.